Marisa Ramirez-Ramos, Fire and Life Safety Education Specialist for the Mesa Fire and Medical Department. Welcome to What's on Fire. In this edition, we'll talk about how to protect your family from what some call the silent killer of children. We'll also speak to firefighters about how they prepare for emergencies through planning and fitness. But first, you may have noticed that we added the word medical to our name, and you may also see our trucks in other Valley cities and towns. Here to discuss this issue with us is Mesa's Fire Chief Harry Beck. Chief, thanks for being here with us at Station 201.
Thank you, Marisa. Good to see you.
Thank you. So in July of 2012, we'll begin to see our new logo and trucks around the Valley. Can you talk to us about that?
Oh, absolutely. Over the years, everybody knows that we started as a fire service and mostly doing volunteer firefighting activities. And what we found over the years is that the demand for emergency medical services continued to grow, to the point where right now it's more than 70% of our call volume. So with that in mind, and with the training that we do and the equipment that we buy and the role that we play in the community, it made sense for us to update the name of our department to Mesa Fire and Medical.
And the rollout of that change, it's not going to be something that we do overnight.
No, of course not. There is some expense potentially with this rollout, so we're going to do everything we can to minimize the costs. And so what we'll see is over time we will begin to update the name of the department wherever we have turnover either of equipment or in uniforms or stationery or all the things that you could imagine would go along with changing the name of a company.
And another way that we save taxpayer dollars is through the automatic aid system. Can you talk to me a little bit about what that is?
Well, sure. Automatic aid is a response system that was designed and implemented here in the Valley, well, probably 30 years ago now. Mesa, as a regional dispatch partner, is one of the key players with regard to automatic aid. So here in this end of the Valley, Mesa, Gilbert, Apache Junction, and Queen Creek participate in a partnership where we respond automatically where when a call comes in, we erase the boundaries between the cities, we send the closest, most appropriate unit to the call that's come in.
And why does it make sense for us to be part of the automatic aid system?
Well, what's important for Mesa is that, as you can imagine, the communities I just mentioned surround the border of Mesa on three sides. That helps Mesa avoid the duplicate cost of another fire station along the borders, where the other communities plan with us in advance to minimize the cost of the resources to cover all potential areas within the East Valley. So not only do we save money, but it also improves the response times no matter where you are in the East Valley.
And this is a pretty fair system. We help other departments, but they help us as well.
You know, absolutely. Automatic aid is built upon reciprocal participation, which basically means that everybody gives and contributes based on the need at the time. And so what we see is a very, very close parallel in terms of service demand that essentially almost erases itself in the final analysis.
So at the end of the day, no matter where I live, the closest unit is going to respond to me no matter what city I'm in.
That's correct. And that's the way we maintain our response times. As you know, 4 minutes 90% of the time is our goal for arriving on the scene of an incident. And the best way we know of to do that is to share resources and really forget about where the citizen actually lives, but treat them as a person first and respond to their emergency and help them as soon as we can.
Chief, we also train together as departments, and that's a cost-saving measure, correct?
Oh, it certainly is. And probably paramount to that is it's a safety issue for us. Because you can imagine when our crews work together, if we've trained together, we know the routine, then we can support each other seamlessly. And that allows for a better safety on the scene as well as improved service. But you mentioned the cost efficiency of this. It absolutely is. We share our training activities with the other three communities, and as they develop programs and initiate new training, they share them with us. So not only is it a cost savings in terms of the cost of training, but it improves our quality of service, and it also includes improved safety on the fire ground.
I would think that it also helps us as far as a burden on our staff or resources, because one agency isn't putting on the same training multiple times. We can share that burden.
You know, that's absolutely right. You know, training is a main part of the fire and EMS business that we're in. And so since we're all doing it pretty much the same, it makes sense to group our resources together and just do it one time and do it well. So not only are we saving money, but we're also improving the quality of the training.
Chief, when someone calls 911, they're routed to Mesa's dispatch center. Why is that?
Well, what we've agreed to here in the East Valley is to essentially partner with each other, assemble one dispatch center that services the entire region. Saves money, it saves time, and it improves the quality of our dispatch. So what happens is no matter where in the East Valley you dial 911 and you request fire and emergency medical services, you will end up in the Mesa Regional Dispatch Center. Because as I mentioned earlier, we do dispatch without jurisdictional boundaries. And so the dispatcher draws from a pool of all East Valley equipment for fire and emergency medical and is able to dispatch the closest unit. This works out well for everybody because, again, it's very efficient because each community otherwise would have to provide their own dispatch service. So we all partner and everybody shares in the cost of this in a very equitable kind of way. So it's a cost savings for everybody. Again, it improves the response times, it improves safety actually for our responders, and it obviously improves the quality of the service we provide.
I would think that gives them a better picture too when we're speaking about automatic aid of which resource is the closest to the emergency that's come in.
You know, and as you mentioned, it's really important that we share all these resources in the same pool, which means that the Mesa Dispatch Center, we're able to see where all of these resources are located at any given moment, so it's easy for us to select the closest, most appropriate unit for response.
Chief, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Marisa.
And we've created a mini documentary with our dispatch partners that explains the automatic aid system.
202, engine 215, engine 251, engine 411, ladder 255, channel 5 for structure fire. Smoke and flames from the roof.
We're clearly the gold standard of the United States for the best possible dispatch and response for emergency services.
We need a second line.
This anticipates the need, sends the closest unit, completely integrated.
We're doing vertical ventilation.
We're the only level of government that really does this.
We're going in for search and rescue.
You can learn more and hear from Gilbert and Queen Creek's chiefs by visiting mesaaz.gov/fire or checking out our YouTube page at youtube.com/mesafiredept. The program will also air in its entirety on Channel 11. Coming up, we'll show you how to protect your children from what some call the silent killer. Stay tuned.